When we're evaluating a function, sometimes we're given, well, evaluating a function, we're given a value of x. And when I take this value of x and I plug it into the definition of the function, right, it helps me figure out what the output of that function is for that value of x. So for this first problem, you can see that I'm going to be given an input of 5, meaning that 5 is going to go into this function. Well, the definition of the function is it's just 5 times your input plus 7 more. So what I'm looking at here is 5 times my input plus 7 more. So this 5, that's the input to the function, lands right here in the definition. And I'm looking at the number 25 plus 7 more. And 25 plus 7 more should be the number 32. 25 plus 7 more should be the number 32. So when the input to this function is the number 5, the output is 32. Below, we have an input that's going to be negative 5. So now instead of passing the number 5 in, we're going to be passing in the number negative 5. So to deal with this, again, I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite the definition. 5 times a place for the x plus 7 more. Again, this definition just says this is the function, right, where you multiply the input by 5 and then you increase that value by 7 more. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be multiplying the input by the number 5 and then increase it by 7 more. This time, however, my input is the number negative 5. And when I look at this, 5 times negative 5 is the number negative 25, and then plus 7 more. This will be a negative number this time. This will be the number negative 18. One caution is you can see how I'm using parentheses to identify the place for my input. It's very much best practice. And this is particularly true if you have a function that involves squaring x as part of its definition. So again, my point is please notice the use of the parentheses and use those, particularly when you're squaring items. The last one is it says, what value of x would make this function have an output of negative 3? So this is a little bit different. Now what's happening is they're saying, look, we don't know what input it is. The question is, what input would make 5x plus 7 become 3? To answer that, we're just going to take the definition of the function, 5x plus 7, and we're going to set it equal to our desired output. We want it to have an output of negative 3. And in order to do that, all we have to do is solve this equation for x. So I'm going to begin by adding a negative 7 to both sides, or subtracting 7 from both sides. The left-hand side is going to become 5x, and the right-hand side is going to become negative 10. And now if I divide both sides by 5, I get that x would be negative 2. So when the input is negative 2, the output would be negative 3. So this value that we found right here, this value of x, this negative 2, this is equivalent to the input from the previous two problems. So be aware there's this difference. Sometimes you're asked to figure out what the function output will be when given the input. Sometimes we're asked what input would be required in order to get an output, in this case of negative 3.